Bad cop gets arrested after insane stop. I don't know why I said it like that. Insane stop. Yep. I'll do my best not to yap so much, chat. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Fuck you.
Welcome to Audit
I gotta
the
talk
Audit,
as much
where
as I
we
want.
sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers excessive force, public intoxication, and the duty to provide medical care, and is brought to us by the Houston Landing. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On February 26, 2022, Officer Michael Kinsley of the Dickinson Police Department responded to an accident where 65-year-old Michael Scurlock was hit by a pickup truck as he rode his bike in Dickinson, Texas. The interaction that followed was captured on Officer Kinsley's body-worn camera and later on Officer Kevin Chance's body camera.
Is that the pickup truck?
Me out on that auto pit.
I said I was.
You alright?
Yeah, a little hit to get together. He's being stubborn about getting checked out, but he said he all right.
I'm all right.
So we're just.
You alright?
I told him I want to take
No,
him down.
I ain't all right. I need about $1 million, and then I'll be all right.
Well, you ain't getting that, so.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I'm trying to get him. He's always
You
up and
go,
down
you
my
can go
street,
ahead and
so
get that.
I want to get you
I
down.
got that, you know.
Don't we all, though? Don't we all?
Even though it's
Why
a
are we still
complicated son of a-
spamming the forehead? Shut up!
Guess I'm
Why are we?
Well, so what do you want to do?
I'm gonna flip this thing on.
63, he's not injured, no ambulance needed. Can you run Michael Scurlock?
I think I'm going to flip that cover over. I don't think you're going at it right. There you go.
That was like the most ungraceful way to flip that bike ever.
Yeah, I got the tools at the house. You know where I live.
You know, you didn't do that on purpose.
No, sir.
63, did you get my last transmission?
I'll come by you.
Stop by the house. You know where I be.
I'm glad that you are somebody I know.
Hey, hold on,
Oh, they know each other. Okay.
Hold on. Don't go anywhere yet.
What do you mean don't go anywhere yet?
Exactly what the f I mean. Don't go anywhere yet.
Hey, what the f have I done?
I was.
What?
What happened?
He hit me accidentally.
right there.
EMS is not needed.
I was looking that way to go.
I don't get it. They're cordial. Everything's good. He's like, yeah, I know the guy. You know, he hit me up by accident. We're all good. And he's going to go on a merry way. You're not going anywhere. What? Huh? What?
Oh. And I was starting to ease
Stop
out.
spamming
it! A flash in front of him. He goes,
I was worried about
pump
flat. Now, I ain't worried about a flat. Look at that wheel. Wee!
What were you driving?
I got fix a flat in that son. And it ain't supposed to fix a bicycle tire. It adheres the tube to the tire. And that son is leaking down. Boom, bang.
Cops hate the homeless? Well, yeah. Yeah. Music and applause. Where's that?
All right, am I through?
No.
What have I got to do?
You gotta wait here
For what?
For? Tell me.
till we finish our investigation.
Investigation? There ain't
Matter of
no
fact, have a seat. Have a seat on the curb.
Matter of fact, I was out there laying.
Have a seat on the curb.
You're not listening to me.
Have a seat
That's
on the
what
curb.
you're supposed to do.
Have a seat on the curb.
She hit me. I mean, he hit me, and I wasn't. I thought he saw me.
Why is this guy being such an ass? What the fuck? Prospect, you don't actually have to time people out for spamming the emote. I was just joking. It's all in good fun. You don't actually have to time people out for spamming the emote. That's the fun. I know? Okay.
Hey, have a seat on the curb.
I'm gonna
Are you
look
coming?
for my stuff, young man.
All right, turn around.
Come on, now, wait a minute.
Hey, relax.
What are you doing?
Hey,
Hey,
It was like
gonna have a
2-second
seat.
timeouts? Okay,
Yeah.
just
I'm
making sure.
trying to have a seat.
I couldn't
let go
tell.
of me. You don't hold me.
We need him now.
63, go ahead, roll an ambulance.
After Mr. Scurlock attempts to step away from Officer Kinsley to collect his possessions,
All right, give me a second. I was distracted by chat. What the hell just happened here?
You don't hold me.
Okay, I missed something important because I was looking at chat.
All right, turn around.
Come on, now, wait a minute.
Hey, relax.
What are you doing?
Hey,
Hey,
You're gonna have a seat. Sit down.
I'll try to have a seat if you'll let go of me. You don't hold me.
What the fuck? Why?
63. Go ahead. Roll an ambulance.
After Mr.
For
Scurlock
what?
attempts to step away from Officer Kinsley to collect his possessions, Officer Kinsley grabs his arm and shoves him against the cruiser. When Mr. Scurlock tenses up, Officer Kinsley throws him to the ground, causing him to apparently lose consciousness. Although the type of force used to take Mr. Scurlock to the ground is not clear from the body camera footage, a bystander reported that he saw Officer Kinsley flip Mr. Scurlock upside down and slam him headfirst into the curb. Officer
What
Kinsley,
the
on the
fuck?
other hand, claimed that he wrapped his arms around Mr. Scurlock and tripped him with his leg as part of a tactical takedown move. Now, as we've discussed many times before here on ATA, the Supreme Court established 3 guideposts for courts to use when determining whether
What
a
the
particular
hell,
use
dude?
of force was constitutionally excessive in the 1989 case of Graham versus Connor. These guideposts, which are often referred to as the Graham factors, include, now quoting, the severity of the crime at
Thank you,
issue,
Llama.
whether the suspect poses an immediate threat to the safety of the officers or others, and whether he is
For the 10.
actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade arrest by flight. Applying the Graham factors to this situation, Mr. Scurlock was the victim of an accident and was not suspected of a crime at the time Officer
What the
Kinsley
fuck?
arrived. Although it is possible that a court would conclude his non-compliance with Officer Kinsley's orders created arguable probable cause for an interference with a public servant charge, which is a Class B misdemeanor. Likewise, Mr. Scurlock did not take any aggressive actions or appear to pose a threat to anyone. And although he did
Dude, he was actually being like a nice fucking guy. Like, first of all, he didn't press charges against the dude who literally hit him. And then he's like, yeah, we're good friends. Yeah, we'll meet back at your place and you can help me with my bike and stuff. Oh, yeah. All right, we're all good. Let's have a good stay. No, you're not going anywhere. Like, fuck, why? Holy shit. Like, just full on police brutality for zero reason whatsoever.
refused to comply with Officer Kinsley's orders
How dare you get hit by a truck?
by attempting to step
How dare you be homeless?
away, he was not under arrest, and therefore could not be considered to be attempting to resist or evade arrest. Additionally, as the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Texas, explained in the 2000 case of Goodson versus City of Corpus Christi, quote, in the Fifth Circuit, to succeed on an excessive force claim, the plaintiff
Calmest
bears the burden
interaction
of showing,
ever.
1, an injury, 2, which resulted directly and only from the use of force that was clearly excessive to the need, and 3, the force used was objectively unreasonable. In the 2014 case of Backey versus City of Galveston, an officer argued that he was entitled to qualified immunity for his use of force against a citizen, claiming that a subject's failure to follow police orders, standing alone, may be sufficient justification for the use of force. In rejecting this argument, the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas determined that, quote, it is true that a subject's failure to follow police orders is sometimes invoked as justification for use of force, but failure to comply with orders is not a separate and additional...
I'm not gonna lie, like, I appreciate that he goes over the law and like the specifics of it, but this is such a batshit insane case. Like, this isn't even necessary. Like, this is so, like, I get why he's doing what he's doing, but it's just like, this is such a fucked up case. It's like, there's no point in even going over this
additional factor to be considered in the Graham framework. It is subsumed within the Graham factors themselves. In the Backey case, the court
Old man probably couldn't even run from him if he wanted. Yeah, he'd probably get shot or tased.
concluded that the citizen's alleged refusal to follow orders should be
My
considered
fucking
under the
headphones went
first
out.
Graham factor, the severity of the crime at issue. The court noted that,
There
at
it goes.
most, his alleged refusal to leave the area constituted interference with a public servant, and held that, now quoting, under clearly established law, no reasonable officer would have believed it lawful to tase a subject for such a minor offense, particularly when the officer had not attempted to use any intermediate measures of force. Now, although Officer Kinsley did not tase Mr. Scurlock, he used aggressive and serious force
Yeah.
on him that caused him to lose consciousness without first attempting intermediate force, and it seems likely that a court would conclude that this use of force was excessive.
Both parties said everything was fine and the cop got mad. I wonder if it's just like the cop was like, finally, I get to put something on my quota for the month. I could get employee of the month. I could get cop of the month if I hit my quota. They have like those little fundraiser things where like it's like Girl Scout cookies, except for selling Girl Scout cookies. It's more of them arresting people for shit, right? It was like, oh, finally, I get to get my reward. I get to get my PSP, my Nintendo DS. That's the big reward, right? And then he's just like, God damn it. Why are you guys being so cordial with each other? Fuck you. Body slams the old man.
What, we need him now.
62, go ahead, rolling in.
Is he out?
Huh?
Is he out?
Wow. Jesus Christ, man.
You know his name?
Michael Spurlock, I believe.
Is he drunk?
Huh?
Is he drunk?
I don't know. I tried to get him to sit down because it looked like he was going to walk away. He wouldn't
Dude,
do it.
look at this fucking loser. Look at this fucking loser. He knows. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows that he's like, yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I slammed this guy for no reason. Now I'm going to get in trouble.
So now I told him, put your hands behind your back and start resisting.
And now they're trying to make bullshit excuses. Was he drunk? Well, I could write that down. I could write down that he was drunk, and everything will go away.
Let me get his information so I can get him out of here. You good holding him? You want some gloves or something?
I mean, I already touched him. I got some gloves.
Yeah, disgusting homeless. Ew, I don't want to touch them with my bare hands. Disgusting.
As they wait for EMS to arrive on the scene, Officer Kinsley and Officer
Can't wait for 5 days suspension, no pay. I know, right?
Chance discuss whether Mr. Scurlock was drunk, despite the fact that the body camera footage showed no signs of intoxication. After consultation with his supervisor, Officer Kinsley eventually arrested Mr. Scurlock for public intoxication, although his blood alcohol concentration was never tested. In defending the arrest, Officer Kinsley's supervisor claimed that he had seen Mr. Scurlock acting erratically earlier in the day, and Officer Kinsley said a bottle in the basket of Mr. Scurlock's bike contained liquid that smelled like alcohol. Under
What? Are you fucking serious?
Section 49.02 of the Texas Penal Code, the state public intoxication statute, quote, a person commits an offense if the person appears to be in a public place while intoxicated to the degree that the person may endanger the person or another. Section 1.07 of the Penal Code defines the term public place as, quote, any place to which the public or a substantial group of the public has access and includes, but is not limited to, streets, highways, and the common areas of schools, hospitals, apartment houses, office buildings, transport facilities, and shops. As such, Mr. Scurlock was likely in a public place at the time of his arrest. However, there is a strong argument that the officers did not have probable cause to believe that Mr. Scurlock was intoxicated. Although the Court of Criminal Appeals of Texas held in the 2019 case of State versus Martinez.
Again, like, going over this stuff is like, there's not even a reason. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to skip the law stuff because it's like, it feels so goofy to see such an insane, like, blatant abuse of power and then, like, go over small, minute details explaining why it's legally wrong. It's like, we know. Like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate it, and I bet in other videos that he does, it probably makes more sense why he explains it. There's probably, like, a little bit of, like, oh, I'm not sure, and then he explains it, and it clears it up. But this is so fucking ridiculous that it's like, it's not even a point.
The body camera footage did not show that Mr. Scurlock...
That's the point of the channel. What the fuck did I just say? What did I say? Did you hear anything that came out of my mouth? His vids are all like that big. What did I just say? Hello? Did anyone hear anything that came out of my mouth? Am I speaking to a wall? I literally just said, I'm sure in his other videos, it makes more sense.
You got me.
God, dude, I swear, like, my chat is just full of children that don't understand basic English. Like, it's, oh my God. What Mr. Pig, that's what his channel is. That's what he does. Like, no shit, that's what he does. I'm explaining why it's just stupid in this situation. God.
Exhibited any slurred speech, difficulty
I'm not even saying that the channel's bad. I'm agreeing that he's good, and I like that he does this stuff.
Fun fact, Girl Scout cookies are made out of real Girl Scouts. Also, the worst part about fighting 28-year-olds is that there's 20 of them?
Swaying, and his eyes did not appear to be red or glassy. Further, the officers never claimed to smell alcohol on Mr. Scurlock's breath or person, and...
I'm starting to notice...
Oh my God, I don't care!
I'm starting to notice that Chap makes Pig mad often. What gave you that idea? What gave you that idea? What, when? Muted? All right.
They did not mention the idea of him being intoxicated until after Officer Kinsley had rendered him unconscious. Accordingly, it is likely that a court would conclude that the officers did not have arguable probable cause to arrest Mr. Scurlock for public intoxication. Although Officer Kinsley called for an ambulance, Mr. Scurlock eventually regained consciousness, and when EMS arrived, Mr. Scurlock refused medical attention. However, at the time, he was unstable and confused, with blood streaming down his face.
Yeah, he probably refused medical because he doesn't have insurance and he doesn't want to pay for it, most likely. Because let's be real, chat. If he had to go get medical, he'd be in debt for the rest of his life. Blood? Yeah, dude was body slammed on his forehead onto a curb.
Officer Kinsley then transported him to the Dickinson City Jail, where staffer Floyd Pruitt said Mr. Scurlock needed to go to the hospital, but admitted him anyway. Despite the fact that Mr. Scurlock began complaining of pain and dizziness even before he arrived at the jail, he spent the night in a cell, where video footage showed him unsteady even in a seated position, collapsing, and vomiting. The jail security camera also captured an interaction between Mr. Scurlock and Mr. Pruitt the next morning, as Mr. Pruitt had to help Mr. Scurlock out of his cell to stand before a judge setting bail.
Come on.
Dude.
You got a car, don't you? A car for what? To get me home. No, I don't have a car to get you home in. Come on.
Mr. Scurlock, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to a lawyer. You have the right to have a lawyer present at any interview at the police or district.
Dude, this is just making me so sad now. Oh my God.
You have the right to terminate any interview at any time. You don't have to make a statement, but I must warn you, any statement you make can and will be used against you. You're charged with public intoxication. I'm going to set a bond of $581. Can you make bond, sir? I take that as a no.
Yeah, I guess.
What are you going to do? What do we do?
Oh,
He
got some lacerations on his head.
Okay, payment plan or this?
Yeah, payment plan.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh my God, dude. They're still disrespecting him. Like this, they're still treating him like absolute trash. Like,
oh, how am I here?
You got arrested for public intoxication yesterday.
I got beat on this today.
Having signed that, fill that out. If it has any information, we'll go from there.
Man, I ain't got no way out of here.
No, you're getting out.
You're getting out.
Sign right here for me.
Oh, God.
like I know he refused. Oh man, I know he refused medical help, but how can you look at this man and just like not get him help? I don't understand. I don't understand, dude. His crime was checks notes.
Fun
not
fact,
meeting
the
cops
only
after getting
word
hit
you should
by a
say
car.
to the police is lawyer.
True.
Man, I can't see.
Huh?
I can't see.
Wow. Dude probably has fucking internal bleeding in his brain. He probably has brain damage.
Sign your name the best you can.
Okay.
Okay. Just sit right there on the bench for me. I think this one got, I think this is...
God, nice.
That's it.
Ah!
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man. Okay, hey, you're gonna have to be quiet.
I seen that.
You have to be quiet right at court. Just a minute. Come on.
I can't come on.
The judge is out here.
He totally has a concussion. I think he has a little bit more than a concussion. Yeah, he really does need a hospital.
No.
Sit right there.
Despite the fact that Mr. Scurlock exhibits extreme disorientation, difficulty walking, and reported that he could not see, the jail employees do not offer or provide any medical assistance for Mr. Scurlock. In the 1983 case of Revere versus Massachusetts General Hospital, the Supreme Court recognized, now quoting, a municipality's constitutional duty to obtain necessary medical care for a person injured by the municipality's police in the performance of their duties, and held that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment requires the government to, now quoting again, provide medical care to persons who have been injured while being apprehended by the police. In the Revere case, the court determined that the government had fulfilled its constitutional obligation by seeing that the injured individual was taken promptly to a hospital that provided the treatment necessary for his injury, and ensuring that the medical care needed was in fact provided. Now, although Officer Kinsley called for an ambulance, he did not ensure that Mr. Scurlock received medical care, allowing him to refuse EMS and taking him to jail, despite the clear need for treatment for his open wound. And
yeah, I was about to say, like, I feel like there's a point. There's like a point where it's like, even if they refuse, it's like, bro has severe brain damage at this
exhibited
point.
Traumatic brain injury symptoms. As such, there is certainly cause to believe that Officer Kinsley violated his duty to provide medical care to Mr. Scurlock. Additionally, the Supreme Court concluded in the Revere case that the Eighth Amendment's prohibition on cruel and unusual punishments is violated by, now quoting, deliberate indifference to serious medical needs of prisoners, and that while the Eighth Amendment applies only to convicted prisoners and not to pretrial detainees, the due process rights of pretrial detainees, now quoting, are at least as great as the Eighth Amendment protections available to a convicted prisoner. Accordingly, as the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals explained in the 2021 case of Martinez versus City of North Richland Hills, quote, when officials demonstrate deliberate indifference to a pretrial detainee's serious medical needs, they violate the 14th Amendment.
Good point, yeah.
The court also noted that,
they
quote,
sued,
deliberate
right? We don't know
indifference
yet.
is a demanding standard. It requires that an official both know the pretrial detainee faces a substantial risk of serious harm and disregard that risk by failing to take reasonable measures to abate it. Here, Mr. Scurlock's symptoms appeared to be severe and evident, and there is a strong argument that the jail officials demonstrated deliberate indifference to Mr. Scurlock's serious medical needs. After Mr. Scurlock saw the judge, Mr. Pruitt gave him an aspirin and released him from the jail. Mr. Scurlock was driven home, and the next...
Oh yeah, you look like you got a little bit of a headache there, buddy. Here's an aspirin. Wow. Wow.
Next day, Mr. Scurlock's sister found him unconscious in her backyard. She took him to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with a brain bleed and admitted him to intensive care.
Dude, I fucking knew it. Yeah. Oh,
remained for 2 weeks. In December of 2022, Mr. Scurlock passed away following a stroke, and according to his sister, he never fully recovered from his brain injury and spent the rest of his life in and out of hospitals and nursing homes. Although a medical examiner concluded that Mr. Scurlock died of Parkinson's disease, his family attributed his death to complications from the brain bleed caused by Officer...
This officer should be, like, arrested for murder. Like... At least attempted murder. Like, how? How is it?
Kinsley. Former Dickinson Lieutenant Frank Price conducted an internal affairs review of the altercation shortly after it occurred, which included a visit with Mr. Scurlock in the hospital. Lieutenant Price concluded that Officer Kinsley had not engaged in any wrongdoing and no punishment was recommended. Of course he didn't. Officer Kinsley was later promoted to sergeant. However,
of course he was!
Nearly 7 months later, after a whistleblower came forward, city officials hired retired Austin Police Department Detective Jesse Prado as a private investigator to review several Dickinson Police Department cases, including Mr. Scurlock's. After completing his investigation, Mr. Prado issued a report in April of 2023. The report determined that Lieutenant Price conducted a, and I'm quoting, flawed and biased inquiry into the altercation and deliberately worked to, quote, cover up the incident. incident, noting
Yeah, that's an understatement.
that Lieutenant Price only interviewed one Dickinson police officer, Officer Kinsley himself, and did not document Mr. Scurlock's extensive medical problems in the jail. Mr. Prado also found that Lieutenant Price did not tell doctors that Mr. Scurlock hit his head on the ground when he visited the hospital, even though the physicians were unsure of what caused the injury. Mr. Prado additionally concluded that Dickinson's then police chief, Ronald Morales, was intentionally, quote-unquote, untruthful in his responses to city officials.
Yep, cops protect their own. Got to sweep it under the rug.
When they asked about the encounter, originally telling them that Mr. Scurlock's injuries were caused by the bike crash. Additionally, Mr. Prado's report determined that Officer Kinsley, quote, showed ill will and malice during his interaction with Mr. Scurlock,
at least attempted
unnecessarily
murder.
escalated the incident, omitted key information about Mr. Scurlock's injury to the EMS technician who responded to the scene, missed multiple opportunities to provide medical care, and inaccurately described the encounter in an official report. Finally, Mr. Prado, who was not asked by city officials to investigate Mr. Pruitt, stated in his report that Mr. Pruitt, quote, failed to render aid to Mr. Scurlock. The Galveston County District Attorney's Office Public Integrity Division reviewed the report for criminal charges, and on February 22nd, 2024, a grand jury indicted Officer Kinsley with abusing an elderly person, which is a third-degree felony, and official oppression, a Class A misdemeanor. In their indictment, the grand
should be attempted murder.
Jurors determined that Officer Kinsley caused Mr. Scurlock's body and head to strike the ground and failed to obtain medical care for him despite having ample opportunity to do so while he was in his custody. They also found that Officer Kinsley knowingly arrested, detained, and mistreated Mr. Scurlock in an unlawful manner. As of the date of writing this episode, these charges are still pending. Notably, Officer Kinsley's employment records included repeated allegations of excessive force and reckless behavior, resulting in at least 5 internal affairs investigations by both the
Dude, this is the fucking problem. When this shit happens, nothing happens to them, so they think they can keep fucking doing it. Like, why are the punishments for cops, for police brutality, so light? Every time I see anything with police brutality, oh, they just get 5 days no pay. Oh, they get a little bit of a suspension. Oh, this guy, like, on a rare occasion, this guy gets fired, but then he just gets rehired in a different location. It's so fucked. It's so fucked.
Dickinson PD and the Houston Police Department, where Officer Kinsley worked from 2017 to 2019. During his time at the Houston PD, Officer Kinsley received a 5-day suspension for inappropriate use of force and ultimately resigned in 2019.
5-day suspension! What did I just fucking say? Oh my god!
19, while suspended from duty for an investigation into unspecified misconduct allegations. He joined the Dickinson Police Department about 1 year later. Overall,
oh my god! It's verbatim what I just said. Verbatim what I just fucking said happened. Dude. So stupid, man.
Overall, Officer Kinsley gets an F for using excessive and unnecessary force against Mr. Scurlock, demonstrating an extreme level of indifference to the physical injury he caused,
should get punched in the dick about 1,000,000 times.
At least.
Seemingly fabricating a public intoxication charge against Mr. Scurlock in an apparent effort to justify the extreme force he used against him. Officer Price, Mr. Pruitt, and the other police and jail officials who came into contact with Mr. Scurlock also get an F for demonstrating a complete lack of concern for Mr. Scurlock's well-being and
complete lack of humanity is what all this is. Like, complete lack of just being a normal person.
And failing to ensure that he received medical care for his obvious and severe symptoms. Finally, Lieutenant Price and Chief Morales also get an F for failing to acknowledge Officer Kinsley's misconduct and apparently attempting to cover up the incident and mislead city officials. In many ways, the appalling nature of this encounter speaks for itself, and if there was a grade lower than an F, I would certainly assign it to the Dickinson police and jail personnel involved in this incident. I commend the city officials for hiring Mr. Prado to investigate this horrifying altercation, and the Galveston County District Attorney's Office for pursuing criminal charges against Officer Kinsley. As for Mr. Scurlock, I cannot rightly assign a grade to an individual who suffered a severe injury at the hands of a police officer and...
Dude, he was like such a chill old man that was just vibing, got some groceries and was headed home, got hit by a truck, and then got body slammed with his head slammed into a curb. And like, Wow.
spent most of the encounter unconscious or clearly exhibiting symptoms of a serious traumatic brain injury. There was no...
You know, honestly, I wonder if he got helped really quick, if he could have been like, you know, if he could have just went right back to normal.
No justification for the level of force that Officer Kinsley used against him, or the apparent indifference to his suffering demonstrated by the police and jail officials who came into contact with him. And I offer my deepest condolences to Mr. Scurlock's family. It is truly devastating that Mr. Scurlock lost his life, potentially as a result of police brutality and misconduct. And I hope that Mr. Scurlock's family is able to find some level of peace and comfort from the criminal charges that have been filed against Officer Kinsley. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching.
Not enough. Like, why? They should be making millions of dollars just suing that guy. Like, this is, wow. That was rough. Holy shit. That was, oh man. Let's watch some people dying in car accidents or something.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.